Back to our channel. Today we are going to start a new series on our videos, that is upper limb anatomy. So we'll start with introduction. So if you know the girdle is nothing but it's a fixed structure, and to that the loose structures are arranged. Normally it's a basic arrangement type. So if you see here, it's a upper limb. We are talking mainly about upper limb. So in the upper limb, mainly the shoulder girdle. You call it as shoulder girdle, which is mainly giving a basic foundation to the upper limb, and the lower one, that is hand, that is nothing but the free structure. So one is a fixed structure, that is girdle, and the hand is a free structure which is attached to the girdle. So girdle attaches limb to axial skeleton. So mainly girdle is the one which attaches the limb to the axial skeleton. And you can see here, mainly the upper limb is made up of four parts, that is the shoulder region, the arm or brachium. So I'll show by means of diagram. So you can see the upper limb is divided into shoulder region, arm is also called as brachium, and next you have the forearm, also called as antebrachium, and next you have your hand is called as manus. So this is how the upper limb is made up of. So this is a shoulder girdle. If you see here, this is shoulder girdle. I will say what bones, everything there. And this is a free part. You can see it's in turn divided into proximal part and distal part. You can see the distal part which is having the fingers, and this is the proximal part. So if you know, the or a whole hand is having joints. Why joints? For the facilitation of movement. So this is a free part, this is a fixed part, that is a girdle. Now we will see what is the shoulder made up of. So shoulder is mainly also called pectoral or breast region. It's in front of the chest, and also it's having the part covering the axilla or armpit. So for example, you can see here, this is a pectoral, also called as breast region. It's in front of the chest, and this region is called axilla or armpit. And this is the scapula. You can see scapula is actually in posterior side of the chest region, right? So it's a scapular region on the back. You can see it's a posterior side, and you have different bones in the shoulder joint like clavicle. So if you see here, this is a clavicle, and next we have a scapula. So this is a scapula. So mainly we are seeing on posterior side. So clavicle, scapula. So they actually both meet at acromioclavicular joint. So this acromion process of scapula join the clavicle. So they both together form the acromioclavicular joint. So the clavicle mainly articulate with axial skeleton at sternoclavicular joint. So clavicle also articulates with the axial skeleton, that is to the sternum, mainly by means of sternoclavicular joint. So this one we already discussed in thorax. You can check it, or I will show it here. So you can see here the clavicle. It's medial end. It's getting connected to the sternum body, so not body, manubrium of the sternum. So it's forming a sternoclavicular joint. So now we will see the arm. So arm is nothing but it's starting from the shoulder. So you can see arm is starting from the shoulder, it's ending till the elbow. Elbow is also called as cubitus. So the bone which is mainly making the arm is our humerus. So its upper end join the scapula, and they form the shoulder joint, and the lower end joins with the elbow. So now we'll see about forearm. If you see, this is a forearm. So forearm is also called as antebrachium. It's starting from elbow to wrist. So from elbow to the wrist. And the bones are mainly radius and ulna. If you see radius, it's on the thumb hand side, and ulna is on the little finger side. So like that you can remember radius, ulna. So these are the two bones of forearm, and the upper end mainly join the lower end of humerus. So you can see this is the lower end of humerus, and this is the upper end of radius and ulna. So they both join here in the elbow joint, also called as cubitus. So the lower end mainly meet the carpal bones. So actually wrist joint is made up of carpal bones, 8 carpal bones. So the carpal bones join the radius and ulna at the wrist joint, and also between the radius and ulna you will have joints. Those are called as radio-ulnar joint. So you will find here and also here the radio-ulnar joints. So these all permit the rotatory movement, that is pronation and supination. So mainly the radio-ulnar joints, that is the joint between the radius and ulnus is usual pronation and supination. I will show you now. So this is supination, this is supination. So if you do like this, there is pronation. So if you see, when you're pronating, this radius is moving over the ulna and you are pronating your hand. So elbow joint, this one, it mainly facilitate the flexion and extension of the forearm. So remember, elbow joint facilitate the flexion and extension. Flexion means, so if you see here, this is flexion, it's coming nearer. Flexion, extension means you are extending, so that is flexion and extension. So elbow joint is helpful for that. Next, in a mid-flexed elbow, mid-flex means like this. In a mid-flexed elbow, the palm is upwards, right? So this is supination. And if the pronation is, radius is rotating around the ulna and the palm is downwards. So palm is downwards means your backside of the hand is upward. So like that we will say about this. And next we will see about the hand. So if you see the hand is hand means it's having in front the carpal joint, right? So it's having mainly 8 carpal bones in 2 rows. If you see, they are arranged in 2 rows, and this is called as hand proper or metacarpus. So if you see, this is a metacarpus, you will have 5 metacarpal bones and 5 digits which are called phalanges, and 4 fingers and 1 thumb, right? So the 3 phalanges, so in each phalange in turn you will have 3 phalanges, whereas in thumb you will have only 2 phalanges. So total you will have 14, 3, 3, 3, 3, but here 2. So total count them, it will turn into 14 phalanges. So wrist joint is made by carpal joints and also radius. With radius, mainly radius means thumb side. So radius and carpal bones join together to form our wrist joint. And intercarpal, in the name itself you can see, within the carpal bones there is a joint called intercarpal joint, and also you have carpometacarpal joint, that is between the carpal bones and the metacarpal, called as carpometacarpal joint. Next you also have interphalanges. In between the phalanges the joint is called interphalanges joint, and sometimes the interphalanges joint and the metacarpal joint join together to form the metacarpophalangeal joint. So next, coming to thumb, if you see, it's a first carpometacarpal joint with the carpal metacarpal directly, no phalangeal joint here. So thumb is a first carpometacarpal joint where the joint can be movable. So this joint is movable. You can see it's coming from the carpal to the metacarpal. So carpometacarpal joint, you can see the movement of thumb, but you can see the movement of the finger is due to metacarpophalangeal joint. Because of metacarpophalangeal joint, fingers move, but the first one, the thumb, moves by carpal joint. This is metacarpophalangeal joint, 4 fingers. So here you can see the scheme of skeleton of upper limb showing lines of force transmission. So the force is transmitted from the phalanges to the metacarpals to the carpals to the radius to the ulna, and from the ulna to the humerus, from the humerus to the scapula, from the scapula to the clavicle, from the clavicle to the sternum. So especially manubrium of the sternum. So this is how the force of transmission is. And finally we will check out how the upper limb is evolved. So evolution of upper limb is mainly from pectoral fins of fishes. So before the pectoral fins of fishes, from there only our upper limbs are evolved. So in tetrapods there are terrestrial vertebrates. They have 4 limbs and they support the body. For also locomotion they need it. Arboreal means the tree with dwelling people. They set free from weight bearing function. And the rotation of thumb is 90 degrees. It's called opposition for grasping. So if you see your thumb, it's rotating 90 degrees mainly to grasp the things, to catch the things. So this is opposition of the thumb. If you see, other fingers can't do opposition, they can't move only like this. But if you see your thumb, it can move in the 90 degrees angle for the grasping of the things. And next, the primitive pentadactyl limb of amphibians in 5 digits, and ungulates have digits which are reduced in number. Next, coming to brachiation, it's suspending the body by arms in arthropod apes, resulting in disproportionate lengthening of forearm and also in elongation of palm and fingers. So these are like not so important, but just to see what has to complete the chapter. So finally you have this diagram tables to learn. So it's also very easy. It will be like a summary for today's introduction. So if you see here the shoulder region is divided into pectoral region on the front of the chest. So this anterior side if you see, that is called as pectoral region. And you have axilla or armpit. So this is axilla or armpit. And next you also have your scapular region on the back. So this one is the scapular region on the back. So bones, what are the bones of the shoulder girdle? Of course you have clavicle, scapula, right? Your clavicle, scapula, these are the bones of the shoulder region, and the joints are mainly sternoclavicular joint and acromioclavicular joint, means clavicle with the sternum, clavicle with the acromion of scapula. So finally you have upper arm or brachium from the shoulder to elbow. So the main bone is humerus. It forms the scapulohumeral joint, that is between the scapula and the humerus bone. It's mainly a shoulder joint. And next you have the forearm is called antebrachium. It's from the elbow to the wrist, and the bones here are the radius and ulna. And the joint is, you have elbow joint and radioulnar joint. And next coming to hand. In hand you have wrist, where the carpus is made up of 8 carpal bones. Of course wrist joint, you have radiocarpal joint and also intercarpal joints. Next coming to hand proper, where you have the metacarpus, which is made up of 5 metacarpal bones, and that is carpometacarpal joints. And of course coming to digits, from lateral to medial side, the first one is called thumb or pollex, second one is called index or forefinger, third one is called middle finger, fourth one is called ring finger, fifth one is called little finger. So there are 14 phalanges, 2 for the thumb, whereas 3 for the all 4 fingers. So the joints here are mainly intermetacarpal joints, metacarpophalangeal joints, proximal and distal interphalangeal joints. So this will already I discussed everything, but once again we are just giving a summary. And next we will in our videos we'll also discuss about the lower limb. So before that, just let us see how both are homologous with each other. In the case of shoulder girdle in the upper limb, whereas in lower limb you will find the hip girdle, which is fixed, and shoulder joint will be like there and here, and the lower limb there will be hip joint, and arm is with the humerus, whereas their thigh is with the femur. And here you have the elbow joint, there in lower limb you'll have the knee joint, and the forearm with the radius and ulna, there is a leg with tibia and fibula. You have wrist joint, their ankle joint, their hand with carpus, metacarpal 5 digits, the foot with tarsus, metatarsus 5 digits. Even after studying lower limb you can easily compare them both each other. So it's very simple introduction and very easy part. Next we will start the main part, that is the osteology of upper limb, that is the bones, different bones of upper limb.